I want to say happy anniversary, Eric. I can't believe this is a real thing. This is our 300th episode of 83 weeks. And I know that when we first started this podcast, one of us didn't think this thing was going to last. Boy, has our relationship grown, and we have had so much fun. And I want to thank you for the time and opportunity and chance to do this. And I know we both want to thank all of our listeners because you guys have kept us going. You know, not a lot of podcasts make it to 300. And as I was talking to Dave Green this past week, we just had our most successful month we've ever had last month. And that's because of you guys. So thank you for all that you do and supporting the show. And thank you, Eric, for making this a priority. And one of the best parts of my week every week is sitting down with you.
Wow, thank you for saying that. And obviously I feel the same way. And Dave Silva is producing with us right now. Dave does such an amazing job and has from the very beginning. Got us off to a great start with some of the great artwork that comes along with each one of our podcasts. I think that was one of the things right away that made us different,
Yes.
and really contributed to the success of this podcast. And yeah, I mean, if you go back, think back to the first time you invited me to come to your house.
Yeah.
And just sit down with you and your buddies. I mean, if somebody would have told me, when I left your house and went back to the hotel to find out that my flight was canceled and I was going to spend another night in Huntsville, that night when I was sitting at the bar, if somebody would have come up to me and said, "Hey, guess what? You're going to do like 300 podcasts with that guy. You just
no chance, zero chance."
I slammed someone's face into the bar for saying it to me. And neither one of us thought that we'd probably ever do business together again, right? And then in the first podcast, we talked about it. So we didn't make any big, it's not like we were getting married. We didn't sign a long-term contract. It's
right.
Like, let's do a few. And hey, if it's fun, we'll keep doing it. If it's not, we won't. I mean, that's the way you and I went into this. And I'm so grateful because this is so much fun for me, and it's helped me, not to get too heavy, but going back and looking and breaking things down and discussing them, it's given me a different perspective on my career and a much healthier perspective. I can look and laugh at some of the stupid shit I did and some of the mistakes I made, and as well as learn from it, but not take things as personally as I probably used to take them. This has been a form of therapy for me. So I thank you and Dave and everybody, Chris McDonald, everybody behind the scenes that makes this podcast so cool, but especially the people that listen to it, because we've made some good friends along the way.
Yeah, no doubt. Greatly appreciate all you guys' support. It means the world to us. And of course, you can get more of us over at adfreeshows.com. We've got bonus content there every single month. And today we thought, you know what better way to sort of celebrate our anniversary than to throw the keys to you guys. So instead of us driving and directing traffic, we're doing an Ask Eric Anything for episode 300 today. And we got just an absolute ton of questions. Before we get into it though, Eric, I wanted to talk to you about a few things that happened in wrestling in the last week. We saw CM Punk come back and do a promo on SmackDown on Friday night. And that got a lot of people's attention, or I guess we saw it on Monday rather. And then we saw CM Punk on SmackDown, and we also saw him come out on NXT. And there was an NXT special this past Saturday night that coincidentally was heads up against Collision. And what do you know? We're going to start the show with CM Punk and Shawn Michaels. This is it's going to be interesting. You know, Punk has sort of declared that he's trying to finish the story, and for him that means main eventing WrestleMania. I know a lot of people like that promo, and then we see him again on an NXT show, heads up with Collision. What are you thinking of what we're seeing so far of CM Punk and WWE?
Well, it's working, right? I mean, great reaction. It started out great, with a fantastically timed surprise at the end of a pay-per-view or PLE, as opposed to the beginning, which is or somewhere in the middle. I thought it was so well done, and I talked about it last time. Story, anticipation, reality, surprise, and action. So far, WWE has checked and double checked and triple checked each one of those boxes. And there's no, with the exception of action, because we haven't seen that happen yet, but we all know that it will, and at a pretty high level. So I think because they've checked every one of those boxes, not once, but not twice, but 3 times, this is going to be huge. It's going to be great for CM Punk. He'll be, providing he doesn't melt down and do some stupid shit. But if he keeps his act together and maintains, a professional approach to this, he's going to be hotter than he ever was. And hats off to him, and hats off primarily to WWE, because they're doing it right.
I wanted to also ask, what your gut feeling is, and if it's changed, what would you do at WrestleMania? This is a hot button topic right now. Everybody wants to know what to expect with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. And I've seen a lot of theories that say, hey, let's do Cody and Roman on night 2 and maybe Punk and Seth on night 1. But we did hear CM Punk talking about Seth Rollins and talking about Roman Reigns and the wise man. What would you do if you had 2 nights at WrestleMania? What would you do with Cody and Punk and Roman? Oh my.
I'm already, I'm already convinced it's going to be Seth and Punk. I mean, from the get-go, Seth's reaction outside of the ring when Punk first showed up. Well done, by the way. Felt very believable and real, and perhaps some of it was. It's one of the great things about taking personal issues from outside of the ring and being able to bring them in the ring, turn up the volume on them, and make them a part of the backstory, make them a part of Act 1 to launch the story. It was really well done, but I think because it was so well done and the focus and everything was there, I'm convinced it's going to be Punk and Seth. And yeah, that'd be great. Punk and Seth, night 1, and Cody and Roman night 2. How could it be any better?
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.